It is Kieran Trippier. It is delicious! Glorious! Glorious!
Walker in there too. Luke Shaw! Harry Kane wants it played into him. He chooses Grealish instead. It's Grealish! It's Kane! I think like this has happened for a long time. Here's the overhead kick from Kane! Palmer finds Watkins. Watkins turns! Watkins scores!
Hello and welcome back to the Gate 102 podcast. I hope I find that you're doing well. Thank you so much for tuning in. In today's episode, I'll be concluding the 2018 World Cup games, and I've spoken about the three group games against Tunisia, Panama and Belgium. I then spoke about England's successes in the knockout stages, beating Colombia on penalties, followed by a brilliant win against Sweden. And in my last episode, I spoke about the semi-final defeat to Croatia, a night of many mixed emotions really, but it did result in the end of England's tournament. And all those episodes are available wherever you get your podcasts. But although England got knocked out against Croatia, they still had one game to go. Yes, it was England versus Belgium once again in a third place playoff. And yeah, obviously we played in the group stage, and it's not something you see there often, playing the same team twice in the tournament. But Belgium had lost to France in their semi-final. They lost 1-0, meaning they'd now be a game to decide who finished third in the tournament. Now, I can't lie, whether England won this game or not, they would always be remembered for finishing as semi-finalists rather than third or fourth. But I've got quite a funny story about this game, but you'll hear all about that after I tell you the team. So it was Pickford in goal. Back three of Phil Jones, John Stones and Harry Maguire. Trippier and Rose were the wing-backs. Dyer, Delph and Loftus-Cheek in midfield. And then the front two of Kane and Sterling. So the team was a balance of strongest and second string, really. You had some of the key players on there that in the tournament, people like Kane, Sterling, Maguire, Stones, Trippier, Pickford, but you also had players who hadn't really played much in the tournament, such as Jones and Delph. And this was actually the last time we saw Phil Jones in an England shirt, ending a 27 appearance career. But the team is still a strong side, even though some key players like Henderson, Lingard, Walker were on the bench. It's still a really strong team. So yeah, me and my dad had watched every game at home or at someone else's house. So I think we had the idea of going to the pub to watch it. As at the end of the day, England were out of the tournament. It wasn't really like this game had much at stake. So we're a bit more relaxed about the game than the previous six. So we live about 5 minutes away from a local pub. So we went in there just before kickoff and we got in and there were 4 TVs in there and all 4 of them were showing the cricket. I mean, I like cricket, but showing the cricket instead of an England World Cup game is just absolutely unacceptable. It's ludicrous in my opinion. I mean, I know it's a third place playoff, but still, surely it's more important than the cricket. But so we're a bit like confused as to what had just happened. Like, why are they showing the cricket? But there was a different pub near where we live, about a 5-minute drive away. So what we thought we'd do, we'd walk home from the pub we were at, and then got in the car, and we drove to this other pub, and we got there at this point, and the game had already started. We're about 10 minutes into the game. My dad had his phone, but he was driving. I didn't have a phone at the time, so we had no idea what the score was. But we finally arrived at this other pub, and we got there, and we thought, well, it's a bit quiet, this car park, doesn't it? And there was just no one there. And we looked through the window, and it turns out it wasn't open. I mean, the pub wasn't open. We couldn't understand it. And even to this day, we don't know why it was shut that day, especially when England were playing. Anyway, we left because it was shut and thought, let's just watch it at home and give up. I mean, there was another pub in town, but it's an absolute dump. So we thought, let's just go home and watch it at home. So that was an eventful start. So we arrived back and we're about half an hour into the game. It was we missed a third of the game. And we got in and we were losing 1-0 and we're like, great, we've missed a goal. And we had to wait till half time to see the goal, as they didn't show the replay of it during the first half. But from the minority of the first half we saw, it looked like England were fatigued, both physically but also mentally as well. It had been a long tournament. And to be fair, Belgium were playing well, but they were almost expected to get this far, whereas England weren't. So I think mentally it had taken it out of England more than Belgium. I think this was clear to see. But Belgium also had a better team out on the day. They had players like Hazard, Lukaku, De Bruyne, and even Vincent Kompany. So it had loads of brilliant players. And with all due respect to England, Belgium were a better team at this point, and I think this was evident. But like I said, I didn't see much of the first half due to our nightmare experience. But at half-time, England were losing 1-0, so Southgate brought on Man United duo Rashford and Lingard to sort of brighten things up. And Rashford actually played left wing-back in this game. But both of them players had a lot of pace, and those subs did make a difference. They brought a bit of a spark to England in the second half. And England had chances to level. Eric Dyer had one cleared off the line. Harry Maguire headed just wide as well. England could definitely have got an equaliser, but just lacked that composure in front of goal, meaning they just couldn't score or have that finishing touch. And then 82nd minute of the game, Eden Hazard it was who put the ball past Jordan Pickford and into the net, and Belgium were 2-0 up. And at this point, you sort of knew the game was over, really. And when Belgium scored the second goal, you knew that they were going to finish third and we were going to finish fourth. But to be honest, these third place playoff games, I find them a bit pointless anyway. I mean, at the European Championships, they don't have them. I think it's just a World Cup. But for me, when you're out of a tournament, you're out. I'd struggle as a player to play another game, a meaningless game. It could be said by some, when you've just lost the semi-final, you're sort of psychologically done and you don't really want to play another game. So it must be hard to stay and play another game, which some would say is like a friendly. But I mean, I wasn't bothered that England lost, really. If anything, this game was just almost a time to celebrate how well England had done throughout the tournament, and a chance for the fans to thank the players and for the players to thank the fans, and for some players to get a few minutes as well. People like Phil Jones making his last cap, like I said. But I've not really gone into too much detail about the game because firstly, I don't think I need to, as it's not that important if you compare it to the previous 6. And also, we missed half of it, a third of it, because of the cricket. But I don't think the need to go into too much detail about it. But that concludes all the 7 games from the 2018 World Cup. And it's crazy to think, if you'd have said at the start that we'd see England play 7 games that tournament, I mean, I know it's 6 really, but even 6 is just incredible. But I'm not quite done with the 2018 World Cup yet. Just as next week, I'll be doing an extended episode, reflecting on the tournament as a whole. And I'll be joined by a few other people as well. So it won't just be me, you'll be pleased to know. I'll be actually getting a few people on, and they'll be sharing their stories, their memories and experiences and thoughts on the World Cup. But that's coming next week. But until then, Take care of yourselves. A huge thank you for listening today. And yeah, I'll see you soon.